Someone asked what we're
Okay.
Thank you. Forever in my brain now. The picture cannot unsee.
All right. Hello, everyone. Okay, here's the deal. I'm a bad orator, so I'm going to be basically reading off my presentation notes. And it's not because well, maybe it's partially because I don't want to make eye contact, but it's not because I dislike you or anything. It's just because I wrote this last week and I really don't have it memorized yet. But we'll figure this out. We'll make this together. So I made this presentation. You can see that slide up there that I made by myself. Nobody helped me make this. Looks very good. Thank you. Yeah. Well, actually, it's easier, so I'll just hold it. I'm not going to read you the title because you can probably read, unless you can't read, in which case I look very rude right now. So I guess I will read you the title. It says, Through the Looking Glass on Identity and Style. So there's a title. I read it to you. Oh, by Lily Scott. Laura told me to say my name. So now I read you the entire content of the slide, which is what my teachers told me never to do. But let's just go ahead and get into it. I am a little bit nervous. I apologize.
You got this.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. We'll get through this together. There's one of me and there's only like 20 of you. So worst comes to worst, I think I can take it. So I'm Lily Scott. That's me right there, in case you couldn't see me right here. My username on pretty much every website on the internet is Suchipi, which is up in the upper right corner. So you can go to like Twitter, GitHub, pretty much anywhere. And if you type in Suchipi, you're probably going to be looking at my profile. I can't guarantee that for every website. If you like go to Pornhub or something, it's Suchipi. I don't know what you'll find. It's probably not me. All right, so here's how this presentation is going to go. It's going to be in 3 acts. First, I'm going to talk about stuff. And then I'm going to talk about contrasting stuff. And then I'm going to talk about conclusionary stuff. It's pretty good, right? 3-act structure, right? It's good enough for Socrates, it's good enough for me, right? That's that's kind of my life philosophy. Actually, not at all. That's completely false. Not my life philosophy. But I don't think conclusionary is an actual word. I think I might have made that one up. But this format should work, so we'll roll with it. All right, so Act 1, stuff. Specifically, identity stuff. Hey, let's hear it for identity stuff. Some of the snuffiest stuff around, depending on how much acne cream you use. Before we get into it, I see a few faces sitting out there thinking, what even is this presentation about? This Lily person, she said she's going to talk about stuff. She's using a fall keynote theme. She didn't even bother to center this GIF in the slide correctly. And you just got to trust me, okay? It will make sense. By the end, I hope to God it makes sense. Can you imagine if I went through all this work and then at the end, well, maybe we shouldn't think about that. That's a little bit uncomfortable to think about. Maybe we can talk about something comfortable. Or, well, not comfortable, but at least familiar about. Twitter. Yeah, everyone knows Twitter. Terrible website. I mean, it can be great, but not really.
It's all right.
But yeah, I have a Twitter. How many of you use Twitter? Can I get a show of hands? Okay, yeah, so this is dark mode. Oh wait, can you put your hands back up? Sorry. Okay, yeah, so that's a number. So yeah, this is Twitter, and Twitter is a social media website, right? So that means that you can talk to people on it, and it has ads. That's the social part and the media part. They got both aspects covered. But one of the things that makes talking to people on Twitter fun is that you can kind of customize your profile picture. Do they call them profile pictures? This thing, that like, is that a Facebook thing, profile picture? They call them avatars. You can customize your avatar, right? And so that's kind of fun. You can, hang on, let's go to my profile page. All right, here's my profile page, right? Oh, geez. Promise I won't knock over all the drinks and webcam. So you can customize your avatar. You see I have a spooky one right now, where I have horns. This is like the shadow of a horn right here coming up. I don't know if that's visible. It's like a holdover from Halloween. And you can customize your name, this little banner here. You can even write stuff in your bio, and you can pin a tweet that you feel like represents like what the content on your profile is about. That's why my pinned tweet's a shit post. But what's cool about all these little customizable bits is that you can really express who you are through them. These bits get reused throughout the site, so whenever someone sees a post you made, they can hover over your profile picture thing, your avatar thing, and then those same things you wrote for all the customization will appear in a little tooltip that pops up above it. So they can use that to kind of get an idea of who you are and what you're about. So, you know, my profile have a devil emoji in my name. It's usually a trans flag emoji. For Halloween, I changed it to a devil emoji. So that lets people know that I'm literally the devil. But not the trans flag emoji, the devil emoji. And then, you know, my picture is a stylized image of me with horns. So that lets people know that I had a theme going for Halloween, and I either like Halloween way too much or didn't get my fill out of it before Halloween ended. But, you know, you can see that you can really flare up and express yourself, and I think it's really cool. You know, there's ways to express yourself in real life as well, of course. You can wear your clothes, you can dye your hair. And here in my speaker notes, it says, indicate whatever hair color Laura currently has as an example. So she has orange hair. That's pretty awesome. And she's got her clothes too. Laura's all about expressing herself. She does it very well. But when you have social software, then those platforms can give you new ways to express yourself. The cool thing about expressing yourself online is people can get an idea of who you are. And so then when you communicate with them, you can get DMs like this. Yeah. Okay, but seriously, this is very cool because we've basically invented a new way to communicate with each other, a new way to express our identities to each other. I know Twitter sucks, but think about it, right? You can communicate your morals, your values, your senses of humor. All these things get wrapped up into kind of identity stuff, right? Like the title of the act. And in expressing ourselves, we can not only find others similar to us and celebrate those who are different from us, but we can also learn more about ourselves. Let me show you what I mean. This is another piece of software with some identity stuff in it. Yeah, this is one you might not have heard of. It's called VRChat. For those of you who can't read that title right there. It's a VR application where you can upload your own 3D avatar and explore user-created worlds with others. So, you know, you like put on a VR headset, strap gear to your hands and feet and belt, and then your avatar will make the same movements you do in the virtual world. So when you talk, your avatar's mouth moves with the same movements. When you point, your avatar points. You get the idea. Like Twitter, it's a piece of software that's focused on social interaction and has some customization features. And those customization features can help you express your identity. Here's my first avatar that I uploaded into VRChat just 2 years ago. It's a game rev. This model comes from the Hyperdimension Neptunia series of RPGs, which means it's technically illegal, but just don't tell anyone. My use of this avatar says a lot about me. I like anime. I like the GameCube because it's just like a GameCube-inspired outfit here. I'm a playful person. But the most interesting thing that someone's avatar says is not what it says to you as the viewer, but what it says to that person themselves. You see, VRChat users are obsessed with mirrors. For them, trying on avatar, looking at yourself in the mirror is an important and universal experience. Almost every world in VRChat has a large mirror somewhere in it. In fact, the VRChat world building SDK has multiple types of mirrors to ensure a mirror can be in any world without hurting performance. A common pastime within the application is, believe it or not, just sitting in front of a mirror with your friends. Maybe trying on different avatars, or maybe just chatting and making faces. This obsession with mirrors is a great reflection, if you will, of the deep introspection that a lot of VRChat users experience when they see themselves in a mirror wearing a different face or a different body. So let's go back to my avatar. Yes, I like anime, GameCubes, etc. But what does it mean to me as the wearer? Well, to understand, you're going to need some context. 2 years ago, I had not come out of the closet as a woman. I was living unhappily as a male at work and in most of my social life. I knew I was trans, but I was scared to change how I was seen. I wasn't working at Webflow yet back then, and my workplace at that time didn't seem like a safe place to be trans. On top of all that, I had a lot of close friends who attended a church that othered LGBT people pretty badly. So I was worried they would feel awkward around me if I told them. Maybe they would even hurt my feelings. So for the me from 2 years ago, the most important aspect of this avatar is that the character is female. Using a female avatar in a new community was an opportunity for me to explore my identity without having to worry about my safety, my reputation, or preconceptions others had about me based on my appearance. And VRChat was a great place to do it because in the VRChat community, this concept of wearing whatever kind of avatar you want, regardless of its gender, height, species, or other attributes, that concept's held in very high regard. Because of that, it's common for men to use feminine avatars in VRChat, and the percentage of LGBT individuals in this community is much higher than it is in the average population. Additionally, the safety of your room is only a headset removal away. This safe space VRChat provided was the perfect place to explore one side of what it would be like to live as a woman without yet taking on all my fears of doing so. So that's what I did. I chose to participate in this community as an openly trans person and explore a side of myself that I kept hidden for a long time. I was able to express myself using feminine coded body language that I hadn't felt comfortable using before. I was able to try out expressing aspects of my identity and learn which felt right. It was really transformative, and it was all possible because I could choose my own avatar. Whether it's in Twitter, VRChat, or some other social software, this idea of customizing the way you are perceived to see how it feels, and therefore learn more about your own identity, is a really empowering tool not only for LGBT individuals, but for anyone. And it isn't something we as engineers even have to program into our software. It's an emergent property of the relationship between software and its users. Pointing at something outside of yourself and saying, "This represents me," inherently creates a medium through which self-reflection and growth can occur. And that reflection and growth can lead to a better understanding about who you are, why you are who you are, and how you can be whoever you want. Okay, I need water. Water's underrated, it's really good. All right, that was Act 1, identity stuff. Pretty good so far, right? I think I'm doing okay. So time for the next act, contrasting stuff. Meaning stuff that contrasts with the previous act. I'm not sure the name of this section actually makes that much sense. I guess like stuff in it, so I guess making sense is all relative. But let's just dive in. So using social software to learn more about yourself sounds pretty great, right? Hopefully I've talked it up some. But before you dive in and say, I'm going to go learn exactly who I am and why I am, and I'm never going to have a problem understanding myself again, there's two things you should be aware of. One, that if you live in one of the countries listed on this screen, you can find a therapist to help you understand yourself at psychologytoday.com. This isn't sponsored, I just think it's really important. I feel like every human being could benefit from therapy, seriously. And this website lets you search by specialty and supported insurance provider, so you can find the exact counselor who can help you. Yeah, I should be a YouTuber. I can just picture it now. This presentation was sponsored by NordVPN. HTTPS is pretty good, so you probably don't need NordVPN. Anyway, the second thing you should know is that socializing doesn't happen in a vacuum. To understand what I mean by that, we need to talk about this dude. Yeah, wow, he looks really weird, doesn't he? There's a lot going on in this image. I can't tell if either there's nipples or female, so Tumblr, don't sue me. But this guy is named Proteus. according to my presenter's notes, he's an early prophetic sea god from Greek mythology, the god of rivers and oceanic bodies of water, which, you know, they could have just said oceans. But anyway, some call him the god of elusive sea change, and it says that he can change his shape. This ability to change shape is where the adjective protean comes from, which means versatile, mutable, and capable of assuming many forms. So, you know, like any in TypeScript. So the reason I read you the first paragraph of that Wikipedia article is because there's this thing that was named after this guy called the Proteus effect. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there thinking, this Lily lady, she's on 14 tips and a graphing calculator. But just hear me out, okay? Because if you draw enough tangents, eventually everything comes full circle. So look, the Proteus effect is a phenomenon where when someone's in a virtual world, be it VR or just a video game, the behavior of the person tends to change due to the characteristics of their avatar. The concept was first introduced by these three Stanford dudes, Jim Blaskovich, Nick Yee, and Jeremy Bailenson, in an article published in volume 33 of Human Communication Research, an academic journal that I couldn't find on archive.org and that Oxford has, but keeps behind a paywall. I swear, this is why I didn't go to college. But we can at least get an idea of what the article is about from the abstract. So let's do that. Okay, look, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. These three dudes conducted 2 studies. In the first study, they stuck some number of people in attractive avatars and some number of people in unattractive avatars. How many people? How do they define attractiveness? Well, I don't know. But anyway, they stuck people in attractive and unattractive avatars, and then they made them perform in a self-disclosure and interpersonal distance task. Now, I'm not an academic, so I have no idea what that means. So my headcanon is going to be that that means cuddling and pillow talk. Because, well, I don't have access to the article. So they make 2 groups cuddle with people, and then they found that the participants with more attractive avatars were more intimate with Confederates than those using unattractive avatars. Okay, so look, I looked it up. This doesn't actually technically mean they were Civil War soldiers. It just means someone they work with, especially in something secret or illegal. Just kind of weird. But the point is, the ones who were wearing more attractive avatars acted more intimately. So let's move on to the second study. So the second study is very similar to the first, but this time they had 2 groups, and group A was all wearing tall avatars, and group B was all wearing short avatars. And then they had them perform a negotiation task, and they found that the group wearing tall avatars behaved more confidently than the group wearing short avatars. So it's hard to tell from just the abstract because they don't have the conclusion in it, but these 3 dudes most likely concluded from their work that our self-representation can change our behavior. This revelation might be somewhat concerning for those of you who are hoping to learn about yourselves by posting on social media all day, because not only does it mean that you might need to go to that website I talked about, it means that it can be hard to tell whether our behavior is an inherent part of our identity or a result of our self-representation. And that brings us to Act 3, more water. Remember to hydrate, everybody. Okay, I actually do know what this one's called. I just put that up there to give you something to look at while you're drinking water. Act 3 is conclusionary stuff. So maybe it should just be called the part where we wrap it all together? I don't know. I'm bad at naming things. Just ask my colleagues. But anyway, we talked about learning about our identities through social software. And we talked about Proteus effect. And these things are kind of at odds with each other. The one says that by interacting with others using new communication methods, mess up that sentence. The one says that interacting with others by using new communication methods can help us better understand our behavior. But the other says that those same communication methods can, by definition, influence our behavior. So does that mean we should just give up on understanding ourselves? How many people think, yeah, understanding ourselves is overrated, better to just float through the void and hope for the best? A few people. Okay. Now, how many people think if we don't understand ourselves, how can we understand others? Okay, a few more people. How many people think some other third thing? Okay, we got a couple. Well, if you raise your hand as part of that first or third group, my personal opinion is you are wrong. But I mean, I have demonstrated a bias towards understanding yourself, so maybe don't take it from me. Take it from some of my friends. There's a friend of mine, a quote from them. They said, "I'm a trans person who realized I was trans because I felt really happy seeing myself as Mercy in a mirror in VR chat." Whenever I make or play characters, they always be femme. It factors into what games I buy sometimes. VR chat played into figuring out what that meant a lot. I was conscious of sort of wanting to be female for years before I started playing VR chat, but meeting trans people through VR chat really grounded it as something real and made me put 2 and 2 together. VR chat helped me realize that I was bisexual and also helped me come to terms with what that meant for me. VR chat helped me indirectly because it let me meet a bunch of friends, some of which helped me find more people who helped me refine my sense of self. I probably would not have asked myself the questions I have if not for VR chat. Remember my avatar from 2 years ago? I actually use a different avatar these days. I started using it around the time I came out on Twitter. Here's my new avatar. Notice anything? She looks a lot more like me. Here's what my new avatar says about me. Still like anime, still female, not sure about everything, but I'm comfortable with who I am. This is me. Thank you.
That was honestly mind-blowing. I feel like I can't follow this up with a joke in any way. So all I can say is, if you sign up today for VR chat with the code Lily10, you will get the first year for free.